and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired.
Just kidding. Welcome back to the Honestly podcast. Woo!
Woo! This is where we're so honest, you wish we would lie.
Mm-hmm.
It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does. And if you've noticed, we've been kind of teasing it out a little bit because we just felt like it was time to take new photos, first of all, because I'm really liking how my hair and my makeup was looking. And second of all, we just feel like the Honestly podcast really encompasses the direction that the show has taken over the past, 2.5, 3 years. But don't worry, we're still going to have positivity. We're still going to have issues, and we're still going to talk about pop culture and all the nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun.
Just a new title.
Well, welcome.
Yep. So today, what we're going to talk about is Baby Reindeer, scuba diving, and love and light.
Okay.
So instead of a So Fired moment, it's really just like the honestly true positive moment of the week.
Yeah, right? It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Only different.
Yeah.
We're just repackaging it.
Exactly.
I don't know. Well, a lot of things happened this week, and it's only Thursday. I think my 528 love hypnosis is really working. I can say that because on Monday and Tuesday for all the open mics, people were like drawn towards me.
Just flocking to you.
If you saw it, you'd be like, okay, yes. You would not deny it. But like people are coming up to me, and yeah, I felt like the prom queen amongst me and my nerdy friends.
That's good.
But what was particularly special about it is I reached out. I took a risk on Monday night and reached out to this guy. His name is Jeff Cohen, and his style is not one for us. At first glance, I actually kind of feel bad. Okay, at first glance, he's a heavier set man with Coke bottle glasses that are frequently like smudged.
Yes, very smudged. I think he says in his own words in his stand-up that he looks like a pedo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you can hear me hemming and hawing is because if I'm not being very thoughtful or if I'm being like cruel, I would say he looks like a pedo, what you would think one would look like. But then I met with him, and I'm never going to say that again because that's mean. He is very talented as a comedian, or at least maybe his stand-up, the actual delivery. Some people could just be good at like theory and teaching.
Right.
He might be a good mentor and a good person because he is well respected amongst all of us at these open mics that we keep going to. And a number of people have said, reach out to this guy, ask him to look at your stuff, workshop your stuff with him. And so I did. And it was so cute. So Monday, I like slid over to him and I was like, hey, could we meet? Sure, I'll see you. We meet early before one of the open mics on Tuesdays. So I get to the Irish Rover and this guy is seated there at a table. It was like a blind date. I was very concerned that I was running late.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone because I made like an accountability partner appointment.
Right.
And his table was like, if you walk through the front door and you're just on the natural path into the bar, it was like the table was like right dead center.
Oh.
And he was facing the door so you couldn't miss it. And he had his notes open and a bottle of beer.
Oh, wow. He was ready.
He was ready.
Yeah.
And I've appreciated that.
I like that because I feel like you've tried to make mentorship appointments before and try to talk to people and they just like blow you off, or it's like, oh yeah, like blah, blah, blah. Okay. That was 5 minutes. Okay. Bye. So I like how this was like, he was ready. He came prepared and I really appreciate that.
Not only that, he gave me, I should look through the book, but he like gave me like people, like well-respected authorities in the space of comedy, improv, delivery, the fundamentals, the principles. And he like an ebook, check this out. And then this, and then he like, there are different ways in which you tell jokes. Oh, I wish. Anyway, so I'm glad I did it. And he's given me a lot of great thoughts.
That's good.
The end.
The end. Okay, this is my honestly positively wholesome moment of the week. On Monday, I felt like shit. Like, I'll get into the whole weekend afterwards, but on Monday, I was so sleepy. I had such a headache. And I was like, Chelsea, can I come over and just like lay in your bed and do nothing and just hang out for like a couple hours? And she's like, yeah, come on over. So I came over and you weren't even home yet. And I just like crawled up into your bed, made myself comfortable with her dog Butch. And I was like, this is living the life right here. I'm like, this is so nice. It's like good old days when I just had a couple hours to kick it and I had my own schedule and I could do whatever I wanted. And then we just got to hang out and chill and like do nothing, which is my favorite thing in the entire world.
I know. We're so good at it.
Yeah. It was a really good time.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you did that. Oh, it turned my day right around.
And then the Advil you gave me did kind of help my headache. So extra points.
Yeah. Just a little, distraction?
Totally. Mm-hmm. Do you have any issues?
I don't know.
Any grievances to air?
No, I don't think so.
I just have one. So I work at a gym and you see the same people all the time.
Yeah.
And some people seem to think that now, since I see you all the time, like now we're friends. That's not always the case. So there's a guy who has a gym crush on me. And he's like very blatantly obvious about it and just like says things where I'm like, ugh.
You got to nip it in the bud, dude.
Yeah, I'm avoiding.
What?
I'm avoiding him.
Okay. Well, as a representative of the frequently received inappropriate things, you have to address it. This is called harassment. This is called harassment, where you go into your workplace and you're distracted from doing the work things because of someone else's like romantic feelings.
Well, it's also, I was running on the treadmill and he was across on the other treadmill, like facing me, like 2 treadmills down. I was like, fuck, like, I really wish he wasn't like across from me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is really killing my vibe on my workout.
Or have Tim say something.
Yeah. He's like always there. He like lives there.
Let's workshop this. What are you going to say?
I don't know. Just be like, okay, see you later, bye. And I'm kind of a bitch to him, but for some reason...
How old is he?
Like mid-40s.
Like my age?
Yeah.
Why is he there during the day?
He works, like work from home. He works there. And then he works out there. And then he's always there. All day, every day.
It's weird.
Yeah. And it's like, fuck, I can't even go into the cafe sometimes. I'm like, because then I'm gonna have to talk to him or he's gonna say hi to me. I'll be like, hey. And like sometimes that happens. I'm like, hey, I'm really busy. Bye. See ya. So I'm just gonna
you know what? That reminds me. Last week someone taped a note on my car window that said, "You're gorgeous."
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, no, I don't want that at 9:00 at night at a restaurant when I park in the dark alley and there's like a note with blue tape on. It's creepy as fuck.
Oh.
No, that's not appropriate.
Do you think they were watching you?
Yeah, it's that fucking creep cook.
Oh.
So don't assume that someone's compliment is necessarily a good thing.
I guess not.
It's not. You're like, oh, that's not. No, I don't want to be gorgeous. Like the person that should be telling me I'm gorgeous is the one who I'm blacking out on.
So yeah, that's my only grievance to air.
Oh, it makes me. You can see that
I know you get all worked up.
But here's the thing: this is the problem I'm experiencing every day at work, but with multiple people.
Yeah, I guess like I'm only limited to like this one person
for now, and then it's gonna be a new person some other day.
Yeah,
that's why I think I told you in the beginning you have to be very like guarded.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're so available in so many ways to so many people.
I know, and I'm over like someone be like, oh my god, you're working out like really hard, like, oh wow, like look at your arms, look at your legs, like blah blah. And it's mostly coming from the girls actually, like complimenting me. So I'm like, oh okay, like thanks.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but it's also just like, still commenting all the time. So I got to make sure I keep up my A game. But when it's like a dude, I'm like, ugh.
It just shouldn't be right.
No.
I got it. The most fucked up thing last night. Like, it's along the lines of Baby Reindeer, which we're going to get to, but I had this experience last night where it might be the most honest thing I've ever said.
Okay.
So last night.
Let's just get into it.
I'm uncomfortable with how to say this. And sometimes don't you just ever, oh God, like when maybe in college you kind of get fucked up and just like fool around?
I mean,
just say yes.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that when you weren't like drinking, you weren't like hooking up?
Yeah, but I've literally been hooking up with my husband since I was 20 years old.
That's fine. It can still be.
And then I had I like a fuck buddy. before him.
Okay. So you get it. Like
Yeah.
you get, that's not the part. It's not, I'm not trying to get hung up on the who, but rather the like, sometimes you just want to get like, I don't know, like go to a concert or a festival and like do a bunch of drugs and have sex. Okay. So while this was happening, I was like, this was the thought that was going while I'm getting like, everybody wants a piece of me. I'm so tired of people like desiring me like physically.
Oh, while you're having sex, that's what you're thinking.
Yes, because I was like, but this is the person that I want to give my sex to.
Yeah. But you don't want anyone else like.
Well, no, everyone's always like, my body and your looks and your looks and your body and your looks. And I'm just like, oh, let's just put a pin in it. It's like a third part of me.
Yeah.
And I wish it just wasn't always a thing. Or let me rephrase that. It's becoming such a thing. It's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to deal with always being like talked about.
And what you look like.
And their desire. And they're like, and I think when you're up on stage.
Right.
Because I'm not just living like a pedestrian life.
Right.
There's like a stage element. Did you like last night? Okay, so last night I sent Lindsay a billion vlogs so she didn't lose the moment because we couldn't be together.
Right.
But the one where I'm like, I think I'm taking on this diva personality.
I was like, yeah, you are. Okay. I guess not to sound like I'm so full of myself and like I used to people always commenting on what I look like for as long as I can remember, like since I was a teenager, basically. And that's just another element of who I am.
Okay, so this is a new element to my life.
So like same with like this guy at the gym always like talking to me. I'm just like, oh my God. It's like more of like annoying.
That's what I mean.
I don't even feel like harassed. It's just like annoying. I'm like, okay, you have like literally nothing else to talk about. And if that's all that you want to like talk about, like, okay, cool. Like you're pretty insignificant in my life. So it's just like rolling off my back. And it's more of just like well, that's just another day. Okay, bye.
I don't know how objectified I feel, but I just feel like it's always.
I guess I'd rather be objectified than ignored.
I wouldn't. I guess so. Yeah.
Because think about it the other way. No one pays any attention to you.
It's not a zero-sum game. I get to choose that I don't want like my looks and like to be. It's like a cute aggression.
Right.
It's because they compliment you. They think that because they're like, well, I'm saying something nice, that it can't be misconstrued and aggressive and like not necessarily desired. Like I don't necessarily want your thoughts.
But I think like when people who don't know you that well, who are like commenting on what you look like, that's like they're only seeing you from the outside. They don't know you as a person. So for them to give you a compliment, that's all they can like give you because they.
And I'm not even talking about my Instagram.
Yeah, no, not even Instagram.
Where I am
in, like real life,
actively objectifying myself.
Right. No, I'm just saying like in real life.
Yeah.
Like when someone doesn't know you on a personal level, but you're just like nice to them, and they're like, oh wow, this is like a really nice, like pretty, beautiful woman. So I'm just gonna like give her a compliment. They can't give you anything other than a surface level compliment because they don't know you personally. They can't like have like an inside joke with you. They can't be like, oh, like how's this and this and this, because they don't know you. So it's either like they're going to give you a compliment and maybe like objectify you a little bit, or they're going to say nothing because they have nothing else to say.
And I like my personality so much,
right,
that I wish they could enjoy that more.
Yeah. But like usually when people that see you interactly like briefly, they don't like get your personality.
I know.
The whole thing.
Like, and that brand thing, I was so disappointed that that's where he took it.
Yeah, I don't message him back.
Ever again?
No, just wait for him.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
It's just dudes being dudes. Single dudes being single dudes, saying stupid shit that they can't take back. And they think they're so funny.
Speaking of things you can't take back, is it true that what's her name? What's from the Mean Girls pod?
Alex
is pregnant.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't see that.
It's on their feed.
Oh.
Her Instagram page.
Yeah.
It says, I'm pregnant.
Oh, didn't see that.
I was like, oh my gosh.
It's so funny because like this podcast, I don't think they're that good.
We used to
kind of be like, oh, like that's kind of what we want to like aim for. Not anymore.
Because when you start off in this podcasting, they're like, who do you want to align yourself with? What kind of style are you emulating? And we're like, well, two besties just yammering away is a thing. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, it is.
It is.
So we looked up to Mean Girls. What are their names?
Alex and Jordan.
Not mean at all.
No, they're super
sweet
nice and very sweet. And honestly, they're not even best friends. Like, they were put together on a show.
Well, I didn't know that until you told me through the Barstool.
Well, I feel like you could tell because when you watch them, like their early episodes, they don't really look like they know each other.
It's weird.
And even when they're talking, it doesn't really give the vibe that they know each other. It gives a vibe of like Alex that runs the show and Jordan's along. Just so like Alex doesn't talk to a wall.
Oh. She's the donkey to the stallion.
I guess so. I don't really know that reference, but okay.
Where they bring in like a donkey to entertain the other like thoroughbreds.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, oh my God.
What?
Austin's dad did that in Kansas.
What?
He had a horse and he got him a donkey for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, get it.
She's pregnant. Ew.
Ew.
She's having a turn of
disgusting. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, we got really sidetracked. Let's get back to what we're going to talk about today. Let's talk about what everyone's watching. Baby Reindeer.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. Let me give you my initial thoughts. Episodes 1 through 3. I was frustrated. I was so frustrated at the main character, Donnie. I'm just like, why do you keep on making decisions that are leading your stalker on? Like, why do you keep going back? Like, why are you self-sabotaging yourself? Like, you're so dumb. Like, stop doing this. So frustrating. I was like clenching my jaw and it was like, ugh. Okay. And then like the 4th episode, it gives a whole backstory of what happened. I was like, oh, okay, got it. You have a lot of trauma to deal with. And then the rest of the series, I was like, okay, you're kind of crazy. Donnie is like a little bit of a stalker himself. And he just like likes the attention, no matter what kind of attention that he gets. And I just like didn't really find him to be that likable at all. And then he turns into a stalker at the end. So
that is your takeaway?
Yeah.
I'm appalled.
And then also,
this might be the first time I've ever been mad at you.
And then the other thing I was thinking about was like,
God, that is such a Disney princess approach to any of this, which means you've never experienced any of those elements ever.
No, but then I was also thinking, I'm like, he kind of reminds me of like Justin Bieber. I'm like, that's why.
Jesus fucking Christ. I almost want to walk off set. I'm so upset about everything you're saying. Okay.
So overall didn't like it. And it was like,
of course you don't like it, but I'm not asking you to like it.
No, I'm
asking you to have like an intellectual, like
I understand that he went through this trauma and that's like,
okay,
why
stop.
He makes the
No,
decisions.
just stop.
But
stop,
it's just,
stop.
I don't know.
No, what I liked is not necessarily the storyline, but the fact that Netflix gave for the first time voice to a sexual assault, same sex.
Okay.
Groundbreaking, and I applaud you for doing it. And the way in which they were so accurately able to describe what rape is like and how trauma makes us do things that we don't necessarily like. I think a kid of 10,000 hours of therapy recognizes that, like, I recognized in myself the pain in which he experienced. So why am I reacting the way to your response? Is because you wrote off and dismissed what a lot of people may be able to identify with on this show, how honest and like accurately portrayed when you're perpetrated by somebody else, that it like you like trauma bond.
Sure.
And so for someone who's like, I didn't like it, but it's like, okay, but I don't think you realize to what extent, like how I just thought it was very courageous. I think they took a lot of risks in saying what they did. And I just feel like it had never been done before on TV. And a lot of it reminds me of my relationship with my ex in the sense that, like, I fucking hate you, but I need you. I hate you. I need you. I hate you. And then it's like, I need you. I need you. I need you. Don't leave me. And so, and when sex has it like, because sex is never just sex, it kind of leaves a negative, like if used in an aggressive way, is used to control not just your body, but you see how he kept coming back to him.
Yeah.
And the guy would like rape him. And when he's raped for the first time and then comes out of the shower and puts his head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I was like, my heart just like broke open and melted, because that's kind of what my relationship with my ex felt like.
I mean, when I was watching it, I was thinking about you, why you like the show, and like relating to it. So like I knew that like why you liked it. Yeah, like when I'm thinking about it through your point of view, like I understand how it could be like very heartbreaking. But then also you were telling me that like episode 4 was like the greatest episode.
When he fucking like he first of all, he's a comedian. He's trying to be a comedian and he's the worst.
Right.
This guy, and then he like gets courage and then on stage like punts his act and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And I identified with this character like through and through.
Yeah.
I just wish you could have, instead of just seeing it through my eyes, maybe seeing it through like other people's perspectives and why this show might mean something to them. It is like, somebody messaged me and they were like, we're going to watch this because of you saw that. And I was just like, I don't know. Well, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe because I just found it to be disturbing.
So it's a disturbing topic,
right?
But like sometimes, especially if we do podcasts or we perform, we actually have to talk about life, and that is an element of life. I am walking up into a brick wall because there's these jokes I want to do about rape, and no one wants to have a conversation or like this guy came up to me, he was like, the word rape is very triggering for men.
I was like, well, I mean, yes, it could be, but I guess also for women, I think it can be triggering for literally anyone who gets raped or like
they're like, you shouldn't be using that word in your stand-up because it turns people off and they stop listening to you.
So what do you have to say? Sexual assault?
I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Should I choose to? I don't know. I still feel like I got a lot of lessons. I got a lot of pointers from a lot of people this week that like trust is established every 15 seconds when you're doing comedy.
Right.
Like
this is what I heard about comedy, like why it's such on the uptick right now, because it's like the only true reality that we have left, because even reality TV shows are fake, and we just want something authentic. So like, let you speak, let you say.
That's why I like this show, because it's so real. It's the most accurate portrayal of like sex addiction, abuse, and even the drug usage. And all because he was seeking, not all, but he was mainly prompted by the temptation of possibly being made famous, because this other guy was going to lead him into the promised land of fame.
Right.
But was using him and like grooming him.
But then they sorted it out in the end.
He sorted it out. He didn't really sort it out. He went back to his like abuser.
He did.
He didn't sort anything out. He just recognized that he's addicted to his abuser. Yeah. And so like, oh God, it was so powerful and done in a Netflix way.
So like, not just like Baby Reindeer, but anything that I watch. And maybe
I asked you not to watch it from an entertainment perspective. I was not expecting you to enjoy it, but rather like so we could have an educated conversation about this.
I'm just saying literally anything that I watch.
Yeah.
I watch it like that.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Like I'm not thinking, like it doesn't trigger an intellectual thought in my head.
I know, but here I am trying to tease it out of you.
And I don't have one. Like
okay,
I don't have a thought other than like meh.
Jesus Christ. Good times.
Like you could also, what's like another movie that is supposed to be like,
I don't know,
like the Shawshank Redemption or something like that. You know how like people say it's a classic movie, you should watch it, and it's supposed to be like moving. Like things don't move me. They don't really trigger like an emotion in me.
Well, I don't like the word triggering in that.
I should say they don't elicit any emotion in me or a deeper connection. I just watch it and then it's done. So it's not even personal to Baby Reindeer. It's life. So sorry you couldn't have a more intellectual conversation with me because I don't have the intellect.
Okay, well, that's honest. If I've ever heard it. What else were we going to talk about?
I was going to tell you about my scuba scuba
Oh,
training.
I have something to tell you about it too.
Oh, okay.
Do you know about it?
No.
Okay, go on.
Okay. All right. So
I got hot on that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, while she was getting re-traumatized watching Baby Reindeer, I was getting traumatized in the pool this weekend.
Way worse than I was.
Oh God. Okay. So I had scuba training Friday through Sunday. Friday, you're in the pool for like 4 hours, and we bought some masks and got like the goggles off of Amazon. Okay, don't do that. They suck. They were leaking the whole time. So the end of Friday, my husband and I, we go home. It's like 10:30 at night, and I was like, I don't know if I like it. He's like, I don't know if I like it either. I was like, okay, cool. We're like on the same page. So Saturday, the whole thing about the scuba diving is that the mask was leaking the entire time. And it really puts a real damper on everything when your mask is leaking and water's in your eyes and my contacts hurt, my eyelashes are falling off. Like, ugh. So I borrowed a mask on Saturday, and so did he. It was like a little bit better. But then on Saturday, this is what you got to do as part of training. You go down into the deep end and you take your goggles off. I can't call them goggles. Okay. You take it off. You let it's called a mask. I kept on being corrected the whole time I was at training that it's a mask instead of goggles. It's goggles in my world. Okay. So I take the goggles off, and you have to then stay underwater and put the goggles back on and then get the water out of the goggles. So you have to like breathe out through your nose to get the water out of there. And I could never get all the water out. But when I was doing this, the mask is off. There's water going up my nose. So the water's up my nose, back of my throat. I'm choking on the water. I can't take a breath in through my air regulator thing. And I'm like, so I like pop back up to the surface. Okay, failed. So they're like, okay, like catch your breath, do it again. It happened again. Like I was having like a panic attack underneath the water. And I was like, ugh. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't do it. I can't do it. So then we like take a little break. I go down to the shallow end and Austin's waiting for me. And I'm like crying. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't do it. I'm like, I'm choking. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he's like, okay, just like breathe. It's okay. He's like, let me show you a trick. Like maybe this will help. I was like, I don't like it. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So we practiced in the shallow end, and like I did it again in the deep end, like barely. So I finally passed. But like at the end of Saturday, I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Like I have water at my nose, water in my ears. I have a headache. Like this fucking sucks. And then Sunday we go to the aquarium and we got to do it all over again in cold ass water. So like I'm freezing, my lips are turning blue. I have to do it again underwater. And like I did start to like choke a little bit on the water going up my nose, but it was like enough. I'm just like, whatever, I have to like do it. So I like had a minor panic right there. And then also I was panicking and screaming underwater because the fish in the aquarium are very large, and its fin like brushed me like that. And I was like, ah! Like brushed me on the arm. I'm like, I don't like it. Like I don't like it at all. So by the time we get done like free diving and like swimming around, it was that time. I was like, no, I'm over it. Get me out. Like, I'm done. He's like, are you sure you don't want to swim around? I'm like, nope, I'm done. Like, please let me get out of the water. This is like, I spent, I don't know, like 12 hours in the water all weekend. It was so much freaking water time. So like Sunday after class, we're done. Like we got certified, whatever. And we're driving home. I was like, Austin, I can't do it. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not doing any more practice dives. Like, I know how to do it. I don't want to do it again. Like, I'm scared. And I'm just like hyperventilating almost and like just panicking, like thinking about it. I'm like crying on the way home. Like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I'm scared. And he's like so sweet. He's like, don't feel like you have to do it. Like you tried it. And if it's okay, like you don't have to do it. Like you can change your mind whenever you want. He's like, I feel so bad for you. I can't help you underwater. And I see you like panicking and having anxiety. And he's like trying to tell me to like breathe and like calm down. I was like, I can't, I'm choking. I'm like, I'm dying. Like I like every time I talk about it, I'm like, oh God. Like it's making my heart really, really race.
When
and
you
I'm
came
so
over,
uncomfortable.
when you told me this on Monday, you were crying.
I was.
And then
I am almost like about to cry again thinking about it.
You cried again.
Oh yeah, I was telling Lindsay about it.
And you cried.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, actually, I might cry again.
So I was talking to Doug about it, and I was like, he's like, you can't fuck around. I was like, I didn't know that it could go that way. Like that's an outcome I didn't know was even a possibility of you just not even straight liking it.
I know.
But because your body's reaction to it. And like, I've seen you in water. I actually don't really think you're that strong in water.
No.
And I don't mean that like you're not strong. It's just like I don't think like I grew up in water and doing water things and the whitewater rafting and the thing. Like that was our not lake, but like Well, I mean, we had Lake Erie, but I was in the ocean a lot. And so when I remembered like our whitewater rafting thing and like, your frailty is so, I'm never more like aware of your frailty as a little creature and a little human when you're in water, because you're just kind of getting wrecked all the time.
Yeah.
You're never really like, you're not your strongest in water.
Oh, no. Water is not my element.
No, it really isn't. And that's so here's a fun fact. I'm inserting myself into this story because I feel very strongly about things that could go wrong in the water when scuba diving. It could go sideways so fucking fast.
So fucking fast.
Because the one thing you're doing is breathing at deep depths of the ocean.
Right.
And it gives me heart palpitations just thinking about it, like all this weight above you, and you can't necessarily just pop to the top.
You cannot, because you'll injure yourself. I could get an embolism.
Right.
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself to reach out to your husband.
You did? What'd you say?
I said, I don't mean to insert myself into your marital, but your girl keeps crying when she tells it, please don't make her do this.
Oh.
And I was like, I am not trying to, but like, don't do this, because why would you force someone to do so? And I'm not suggesting he is, but and he wouldn't. And I understand like the significance and how important it is, but like someone else's hobbies should not make you cry. So I had to put it out there because I don't know. I felt he was in agreement.
Oh, was he like, what did he say? Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think that's a good call. And like, he's only really doing it because his dad wants him to do it.
Yeah. And I get that. But
but he's like definitely more comfortable in the water. Like he likes to go in the ocean and swim around. And like, he likes to jump off the boat every opportunity that he gets. And I am just like, please don't put me in the water. I don't want to get my hair wet. And oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Austin agreed.
He agreed.
He's like, it's not for her. But that's such a dangerous sport.
It is, because like, you're gonna, like, if we scuba, you're gonna be down like 30, 40, 50 feet. You can't pop up when I start to have a panic attack. Hell no.
And I just keep thinking about the Titanic and the sub.
Ugh, I know. Yeah. So like, confirmed, water is not my element.
Yeah.
I will go on the boat and I will watch and like,
I'll have your towel ready when you get up.
Towel ready. This is the one thing that's going to irk the shit out of me, is that I bet you his brother's going to come back up from the dive, be like, oh my God, it was the coolest thing we've ever seen.
What do you care?
I just like, I hate having FOMO. But then I have to remember, oh yeah, that's right, I don't like it. It's not for me.
FOMO?
Yeah.
We just spent fucking 10 minutes talking about how there's nothing to like down there.
There's nothing.
Oh my God.
The only thing I wanted to see was a sea turtle.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
Or how about this? Alternatively, you might be down there and not see it.
I know.
And if he does see it,
take a photo.
He needs it more than you do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw a sea turtle at the aquarium, so good enough for me.
You wouldn't actually like it in real life when they're eye level.
Oh.
It's not it's not as exciting. You're alarmed and you yell, like you scream in your mask.
Yeah. Yeah, I screamed when the fish were
it's actually not as cool as you think. The thought and like saying it out loud, like swimming with the turtles, is amazing. But when you're in it in real life and you see how big these creatures are and how quickly you're like insignificance.
Yeah.
And how out of touch you, like how quickly things can turn on you. It's kind of like solo backpacking. You realize how vulnerable you are and you're really not in control of anything. Because like when I was out there and it was a rainstorm and like lightning and thunder and I'm in a tent by myself, I was like, this fucking tree could fall on me.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm not really in control.
No.
And just to see a fish.
I know.
Fuck
and
them.
you know what the irony is? You know how I was almost not even going to go on this trip? And I was like, what the fuck? I'm not going on this trip because my passport isn't ready.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to go on the trip because I'm not even scuba diving.
It's a scuba diving trip.
It is.
Is it really?
It is.
The whole trip is about scuba diving?
I think so, yeah. Also, this is the other thing. I've had a headache since Friday when I went scuba diving.
It's literally a week.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So
your body is not.
Oh no.
Anyway,
it's rejecting.
So that's as honest as we have ever been.
Yeah. So honestly, I have no intellect and I'm afraid of the water.
You're like, no, I don't like sexual harassment or sexual assault. I'm like, I didn't either. I didn't like it either when it happened to me. And they use drugs to get me.
That's why, okay, so like when Chelsea tells me to watch a show, she gets so like in depth and detail, like, oh my God, like the character development, and then you seem like this and this. And when I recommend a show, I'm like, yeah, it's good. You should watch it.
That's why when she talks reality TV, I have this like disdain, and I'm like, that's because it's fucking gibberish.
It is. And like,
this is the only difference between the two of us. I don't ever listen to, like, there's occasionally things that she recommends that I do like.
Yeah, but like Chelsea is always like deep diving into the story, like Succession, for example. You're like, oh my God, like this.
You like it?
I am, but like you are like deep dive, like you're like invested in like the characters and like the story, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good show.
Meanwhile, Love is fucking Blind and Chelsea, and we're like, oh, we're not invested in that nonsensory.
That's what I like.
I just want to take the laptop and throw it against something. I'm almost over it. Okay, so as it relates to Love and Light, okay, so I'm having these grandiose. I think that's half. Okay, so last night in one of the vlogs that I sent Lindsay was I'm starting to realize I'm having some grandiose thoughts. Are you concerned?
She's a diva.
No, it's more than that. I feel like I'm treading towards cult leader in thoughts.
Oh,
so my
I wasn't thinking you're trending towards cult leader. I was thinking that you were trending more towards diva.
So I said to Lindsay, I think if you ask me what my purpose in life is to spread love and light and joy with everyone I meet, right? So I see them, I think about being at the host station at the restaurant, and I see them and I like make them feel good, and then they leave. And that is my gift to them. And then I started doing that in other places in my life and as well. And now I'm trying to up level that by doing it in whole, like fill the light in the in an entire space, like at Comedy Works, or again, like at all these open mics. And then I'm trying to like not only just fill, so what I envision is a room full of like white light blasting the whole group. It's kind of the same white light you get if you die.
Yeah.
And then come back. Then I'm able to talk about it. So I'm doing that to these people because I think it will make, and I think that's what the world needs right now. More people need to feel good and connected. This isn't like, oh, I need to do this for the world. This is just kind of like, I have this gift and I'm going to continue to use it. And that's really what's propelling me to do the comedy thing. And then last night I was like envisioning me like on a stage, like a world international stage, and there's hundreds of millions of people. Okay, obviously there can't be hundreds of millions in a stadium, but okay, but like blasting that large theater with that love and light too, because wouldn't that be amazing if then people took that and felt that good and like lived their lives. And I'm like, I am giving myself a lot of self-worth where you like start, that's like schizophrenia.
Is it?
When you think you're like
ideas of grandiose.
Yes.
Oh.
And
or
I'm concerned.
Or is it manifesting?
Wow.
And visualizing.
Yeah, it is. As a cult leader.
I was like, no, I don't really think it's giving like cult leader vibes. Because cult leader vibes is like you're forcing people to do kind of like fucked up shit. Like forcing
not
people,
at first.
But like, oh, I'm spreading like positivity and light. I don't know. That sounds like you're like a yoga instructor, you know, in like a good way.
Look at my girl. I can count on it. It came full.
I would say you're more like, I'm fucking amazing, so everyone can fuck off if they don't think so.
Okay, no, I don't think like that. I don't think like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think I do?
I feel like it can trend that way. Like, I'm fucking amazing, and like, you guys are stupid if you don't think so.
Okay, so that's
where I think it's more diva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say diva, I think like Mariah Carey, like unreasonable.
Oh, I think like, I just think that I'm like, can do whatever I want. And everyone will listen to me.
I think because I started off with such low self-esteem. And just recently I'm starting to fill those gaps. Now I don't know what is the reasonable amount.
Right. You're like, what's a good amount of like confidence and grandiose and delusion, and what's too
But then
much?
you need all this delusion to keep you going.
110%.
So now I am like straddling.
I'll let you know if you get out of control, because I think
I need a lot of this like
you need a lot of like reinforcement to yourself, and like you need to like keep on like
I feel like
that.
I'm just like putting the imposter suit on and like walking it through the day as well.
Right.
Because it takes so much energy to get out there and like put yourself up. And I was supposed to go to a mic last night and I didn't. And I'm like, I don't have anything to say. Right. And so that felt like the old me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the new me should have, or like this version of me should have been like, yeah, just go and wing it. Because these ladies need, like, I felt like I let her down.
Oh. Yeah, and you usually don't do that.
Well, it was more of one of those passive, like at the end of the night, she's drunk. She's like, yeah, come. And I don't like driving under the influence.
Right. Yeah, good call.
I was like, it's not going to be worth it. And I should have, because I'm just as sleepy and like awkward. Okay. But one thing I did want to talk to you really quick about, like that love and light thing. So last night before I went to bed, even though I didn't go to the mic, what I did do is I'm spending some time focusing on the principles and the foundations and like doing the homework that guy suggested. And I watched on YouTube for an hour, and it was like the 4 principles of improvisation.
Okay.
And turns out we do so many of those things already.
We do.
It was fucking incredible. So the point is, if you're improving, which is what we do here, unbeknownst to us, you're just like, the point is to enhance the experience and not to be an active listener, to tell a good story, and also to know that like, don't shut it down. Like, keep the volley going in terms of a good conversation, right? Like, even an affirmative can turn negative if you're like, yeah, me too. And then there's nothing more to be like to in agreement, and then there's nothing more to be said. And I was blown away by how many of these practices we already do.
So it's a good thing that we can like be honest with each other, and that we can have different opinions on Baby Reindeer, because, you know, if I'm like, yeah, I agree, you wouldn't have a strong opinion and dislike for me at the moment.
It's not a dislike for you. It's a dislike for like, of course you don't like it. The more this topic or like these storylines can make their way into mainstream is how the conversation's going to be had. Just like with comedy, you know, you guys want it real. Well, this is kind of real, but he made it funny. Right. Funny, not funny. He made not funny, funny.
Sure.
That's what we should do here. Like, not funny, funny.
I feel like we're just funny.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, no, I just like the fact that they took the bull by the horns, and I've been wrestling with how to talk about some of these things, because I do think we're missing out on not just like addressing it. We talk about all these horrible things anyway. I am not a victim of rape. Well, not in like the traditional sense, like not in the alley.
Right.
But I did go to college, so yeah.
So like, it's just like kind of bound to happen. And
we're girls. We're going to get raped.
We're girls. We're going to have to skulk into Walgreens and get a Plan B the next morning.
Because if you didn't already stockpile them, because the hoarder in you said these might come in handy someday.
So make sure that you have an intellectual conversation with your best friend. And then send me the takeaways so that I can contribute to the conversation. Give me the cliff notes, okay? Just send me a DM at Dr. Lindsay Regier and tell me the cliff notes of what I should say. Okay. Follow the podcast, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.